The wind and rain lashed against the window of the animal shelter, mimicking the storm brewing inside Crissy. She clutched a worn flyer in her hand. Small dog adoption event. But her gaze kept drifting to the larger, more boisterous breeds. Her tiny apartment in the city felt emptier than usual, and she knew she wanted a companion. But a Chihuahua? Every movie she'd ever seen portrayed them as yappy, trembling accessories. A nervous yelp brought her attention to a small cage in the corner. Tucked inside was a shivering bundle of fawn fur, eyes wide and dark, like polished obsidian. He was impossibly small with ears that seemed too large for his head, and he looked utterly overwhelmed. The volunteer, a kindly woman named Fenda, noticed Crissy's hesitation. "That's Huggy," she said gently. "He's been here a while. A bit shy, but he has a huge heart." Crissy knelt, and Huggy, after a moment of intense scrutiny, edged forward and tentatively licked her outstretched finger. It was a tiny warm spark in the otherwise cold room. Something about his vulnerability and that unexpected lick tugged at her. Before she knew it, she was filling out the adoption papers. Life with Huggy was nothing like the movies. He was surprisingly not yappy. He had a surprisingly deep, gruff bark reserved only for the mailman or the occasional squirrel that dared to taunt him from the fire escape. His trembling, which Crissy had initially worried about, was largely a thing of the past. Once he felt safe and loved, his confidence blossomed. Portability was the first major perk Crissy discovered. Huggy fit perfectly in her favorite tote bag, his little head poking out, observing the world with keen interest. This meant he could accompany her almost everywhere: coffee shops with dog-friendly patios, trips to the park, even visits to her sister's house, where her nieces adored his miniature size. He was always by her side, a comforting presence without being cumbersome. Then there was the minimal exercise requirement. Crissy, a dedicated but busy nurse, often found herself with limited time for long walks. Huggy was perfectly content with a brisk 20-minute stroll around the block or a lively game of fetch with his favorite squeaky toy in the living room. His small bladder, while requiring frequent potty breaks, also meant accidents were easily managed. But the biggest surprise was Huggy's personality and intelligence. Far from being a mere accessory, Huggy was a sharp, affectionate, and incredibly loyal companion. He learned tricks with astonishing speed, understood commands with a single word, and seemed to anticipate Crissy's moods. If she was feeling down, he'd nuzzle his head into her hand, offering silent comfort. If she was celebrating, he'd join in with joyful, excited wiggles. He was a champion snuggler, burrowing under blankets and warming her feet on chilly evenings. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Her friends, who had initially teased her about adopting a purse dog, were quickly won over by Huggy's charm. They saw his fierce loyalty, his surprising courage, and the sheer joy he brought into Crissy's life. He wasn't just a dog, he was a tiny, vibrant personality that filled her apartment with warmth and laughter. One sunny afternoon, sitting on a park bench with Huggy dozing on her lap, Crissy watched a group of kids playing. A little girl, no older than 5, approached tentatively. Crissy smiled. "He's a Chihuahua, and he's the best decision I ever made." The girl giggled, reaching out to gently stroke Huggy's soft fur. Huggy, usually reserved with strangers, gave a contented sigh, leaning into the touch. Crissy realized then that the best things often come in the smallest packages. Owning a Chihuahua wasn't just a good decision. For her, it was the perfect one. They offered immense companionship, surprising resilience, and an abundance of love, all wrapped up in an incredibly convenient pint-sized package.